franktalks.com.
Relationships, sex, passion with Dr. Laurie Betito. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
Welcome to Passion. This show is all about sex and love and relationships. And tonight we explore the different ways people express their passion for sex. It's a regular feature here on Passion. We call it Alternative Sex. Tonight's edition is produced by our very own regular here, Frank Kermit. So Frank, welcome. You're in studio. Tonight we discuss a couple of issues. Frank comes up with these topics. So if anybody, has a complaint, they go to him, not to me, just to let you know. All right, so we've got two issues we're going to talk about tonight. One of which is spanking, just the whole turn-on factor for some people of spanking. So we're going to be talking with SadistFaction and Kate, his partner, about this. We are also going to address something that the majority of us certainly know nothing about. Spanking we could relate to. This thing, I don't think many of us can relate to, and I don't know much about it myself. I'm looking forward to learning about it, and it is Electroplay. Electroplay. And to talk to us about it tonight is Dunter. Dunter is actually an educator. He's also an active member of the Montreal alternative lifestyle community. He's a bondage enthusiast. He's got extensive knowledge in the martial arts, in the military. He has a degree in electro engineering. How convenient. He's a BDSM practitioner. He's been, two decades in this experience, in this field. Rope suspension, electroplay, fire play. Quite the edgy guy, I would say. Dunter, welcome to the program.
Thanks to have me.
So you have a website, kinks.ca, just so we could throw it out there so people could, reach you if they want. But please tell us a little bit about what is Electroplay, because it sounds menacing, it sounds painful, it sounds bloody scary.
Electroplay is the group of play with different kind of toys that they're mainly electrical. Example, we have the simple vibrator can be considered as electroplay, but we added the TENS. The TENS is a medical instrument that is used to work muscle when they're in the plaster.
Oh, when they're in a cast.
In a cast,
okay,
sorry.
Right.
And they turn in a little kinky toy sometime. Some people get aroused by pain, so some instrument was designed to give a little bit sharp pain, and others are more oriented to the control of someone.
How?
So,
like what?
Example, we have remote controlled toys. So
I use that on my dog to try, like the dog trainer tried this on my dog, put a remote control collar, and if the dog did something wasn't supposed to do, got this little zap. Boy, did she freak out. And I said, don't do that again. No. But on a human? I'm like, wait.
I am for the positive reinforcement.
Okay.
So we give a remote vibrator. So
okay.
You go to a restaurant, and when the waiter arrived, you activated the remote vibrator.
Okay.
So it's everything. All the toys are made to have fun, different level of pain or pleasure.
This electric fly swatter doesn't look like fun to me.
Yeah,
what the heck can you do with this?
It can be used to scare. Playing with the fear of someone can be also very arousing for some people.
Yeah, I guess that's the part that's hard to understand, is how the fear can, the fear of being hurt or the fear of getting zapped can be actually arousing. Okay.
Adrenaline, endorphin, all the other natural drug that our body produce. Some people like them so much they will go for anything to get them back.
It's interesting because those are also the same, the adrenaline rushes you get also in fear responses. You know, when they talk about people in very dangerous situations that have all this strength all of a sudden to get out of, you know, whatever, that's an adrenaline reaction as well. It's just, I guess I don't really associate it, you know, with the pleasure part of it, but you're explaining it.
Well, I think one of the things we have to consider is that it's not the fear itself that is what's turning people on. It's what the fear produces. And the fear produces a series of emotions. And those emotions can definitely be a turn on. The anticipation that something might happen, whether it's something good or something bad, the experience of anticipation can be just as much of a turn on.
So when we're talking about electroplay, we're talking about anything electrical that can be used. So because you were talking about, you know, just the electrical vibrator, the remote vibrator, but then also other things that are used in the medical community, and that you translate into toys at this point, right?
I prefer to use the term toys because they're perverted for their use. So we have the TENS, which is transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. It was used at the beginning of the 80s to warm sports people. So their muscle is warm without using their own energy. At the end of the 80s, that toy was sold as a belt for people to lose fat.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, and it was not working because your body was not using its own energy to move the muscle. So the muscle was getting stronger, but you will not get
You're not going to get fitter in it. Right, okay, getcha. Okay. So interesting.
That toy, what it's doing is using electrical stimulation to contract a group of muscle. Some muscle, example, inside the vagina, with this device, you can control the contraction of the vagina at the speed and the strength that you want, and you can force an orgasm.
You really did your research there, Dunter. I have to say, you can tell you have a degree in electrical engineering. Holy cow! More with my guest tonight. There's 3 people in studio. Dunter is here. He's an expert in Electroplay. So you're gonna, you know, if you have questions for him, please give us a call. He's here, willing and ready to answer those questions. We'll also talk to SadistFaction and Kate about spanking and what that's all about, the sexual part of that. And the joy part of that. We'll talk to them as well. You're listening to Alternative Sex here on Passion on CJAD.
Need help with love, sex, dating, or relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com. FrankTalks.com, Frank Talks, FrankTalks.com, Frank Talks, FrankTalks.com, FrankTalks.com, Frank Talks, FrankTalks.com, Frank Talks, FrankTalks.com, Frank Talks, FrankTalks.com, Frank Talks, FrankTalks.com, Frank Talks. .com, FrankTalks.com, 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 FrankTalks.com.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Alternative sex tonight. Boy, I'm learning a lot about electroplay, electricity in general. It scares the crap out of me, I have to say. A lot of this stuff here. I've got these instruments at my disposal that I can use. Frank, want to get zapped? See, I won't. I want to try?
Well,
you want me to zap you?
Well, here's
Can I zap you?
That's really not in my contract. I'm a hairy Italian here, so is this going to set me on file, Dunter?
No.
No? Is it gonna hurt? I won't do it to myself. Like he told me, no.
See, I'm allergic to pain. It hurts me.
Should we try?
Yeah, okay, let's try. Okay, here we go. Ah!
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Did that hurt?
Nice one. No, didn't leave a mark, so I'm still alive.
That is scary. That like sparks and everything. Wow. Whew, I'm getting like
You
nervous.
okay?
I'm okay. I just had the thought of hurting somebody with that is not doesn't do well for me. It doesn't.
I'm fine. I'm still alive. I'm not going to the hospital.
But you know what's
Everything's
interesting is how some people get turned on by that. Whether it's spanking, whether it's inflicting, electroshocks to somebody else. How did you, Dunter, who's an expert in electrical engineering and stuff, how did you bring the two together? Did one lead to the other? How did you make it a sexual thing?
I cannot say that the knowledge bring me to the kinky or the kink part bring me to the my college specialty. But I can say that my knowledge now can be used to build a new toys or understand how the toys work. When I was in college, I was studying radio frequency, and I say, oh, now I can modify my remote controlled car to control a vibrator and modify the things to get
Things like that.
Pervs.
And I can modify this condenser to produce a level of pain without being dangerous. And you understand also the safety part of things. You don't want to damage your toys. When I say toys, it's the person you play with, and not necessarily the instrument.
Right. Your play partners or whatever. So you've become like this North American expert.
I cannot say expert, but I have a good knowledge in lots of things, and I like to share it.
Clearly. If you have questions about Electroplay, give us a call, 514-790-0991, or text us at 514-800. How did it become a sexual thing for you? Like, how did you put those two together?
I will say it came with my partner, because most of the I am the giver. I am the one who will provide the pleasure using it on someone else. Like the vibrator, I have no fun using it on myself, but it's fun to play with someone and give them an orgasm. I love bondage when the person is tied up and give me all the confidence and all the direction in the play. So I use the vibrator to force an orgasm on her.
How did you know this was what you were into? Like, when did you realize this? At what age?
I can say I was young when I was thinking of
How
it.
young?
Very young.
Like, how very young?
A long time ago. I don't remember.
He doesn't want to tell us his age, clearly. Like before puberty or after puberty?
I will say this, at puberty I was thinking of those kinky things.
Really?
Yes.
But how were you exposed to that? Like, how did you even know this kind of stuff was out there?
But I will say that will begin with jokes that people was playing in each other. We're using transformer. It's the things that we connect to the wall.
Right.
When you invert it and use a battery on it, that gave a little shock, and we can begin to play with each other to give shock just for fun. But my girlfriend at the time get aroused by that. That was turning
your
her on.
Your teenage girlfriend?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
But that was not the pain, like friends was saying. It was the game with it that was fun.
Okay, and that seemed to turn her on, and so that got you kind of going.
That's right, because nothing is more fun than having fun with someone.
Sounds good. Okay, well, to each his own. That's what I say. If it turns you on and it's legal and consensual and...
Well, that's the main thing. As long as it's consensual and everybody's in agreement with what's happening, it's nobody else's business.
Yeah, well, that's the philosophy we hold here on Passion. You're listening to Alternative Sex. If you have questions, comments, do give us a call at 514-790-0991. I'm Dr. Laurie Betito, and you're listening to CJAD 800.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's got some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, 'cause Frank has franktalks.com.
franktalks.com, 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 franktalks.com. Oh, Frank Talks, Frank Talks, franktalks.com. Oh, Frank Talks, franktalks.com. Frank Talks, franktalks.com. Oh, Frank Talks, franktalks.com. Oh, Frank Talks, franktalks.com. Oh, Frank Talks, franktalks.com. Frank Talks, franktalks.com. Oh, Frank Talks, franktalks.com.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Tonight it's alternative sex. It's a show that explores the different sides, the edgier sides of sexuality, stuff that most of us, the mainstream, know very little about. Like we've been talking about Electro Play, playing with electrical things like zappers and giving electric shocks as something. I guess that's one part of it, but electrical stuff basically. And Dunter is here. He's an expert in this field, the most expert person I've ever heard of in this field. What are some of the dangers? Because to me it seems like I zapped Frank before and I was worried that his hair was going to catch fire with the sparks. Is that a possibility? I mean, what are the dangers?
But the biggest danger is lack of knowledge and misconception and lots of things related to not being informed. So, example, if you did not ask Frank, did you have a pacemaker or are you cardiac?
Oh my God.
That can be...
Didn't ask you that. You should have warned me. Okay.
So, sometime, but it's not the toy that will cause a problem. It's if he gets stressed or a shock will provoke adrenaline and everything, and his heart is not able to take it, that can be a problem.
Wow.
Some toys made
lots
of radio frequency noise, like the violet one, are not very good with someone with a pacemaker. So sometimes misconception or misinformation or things like that are are the biggest issues.
So don't try this at home unless you get your doctor's approval first, basically, or the potential consequences of this and effect on either if you've got medications or other mechanical things going on in your body, right?
Yep, and in my experience, I got, I believe, two nice experiences that I can share that are the good point of it. And a couple of years ago, I was in a demonstration in the States, and there was about violet one who give little shock.
A violet wand, okay.
Was built in the 90s by an invention by Tesla, and it was sell on the market to grow back hair. I tried.
Oh, really?
It did not work.
Okay, to grow hair on your head. Okay, interesting. Okay.
And the show in the U.S. was to prove that his product was safe, so he was using on everyone, and he tried it on his assistant. But her assistant was having hairspray in her hair, and he got in fire. So but he did not think of it. So it's safe to use on the head, but you have to think of the danger of little spark and flammable product.
Wow, that's kind of scary. You don't think of that, do? I mean, you're right. I don't want to play with this stuff. This is just too dangerous for me. Can't go into the wrong hands is really what you're saying.
For the violet one, I'm pretty sure you have already used it and you don't know. If you go to I believe the friend is the same in English, it's esthetician.
Yeah, the esthetician.
You have a little skin cleaner that give a little shock.
Yes, to do a facial?
Yeah, that is an violet one.
Okay, and you can use it sexually. Anything can be. I guess that's the message here. Any of those things can be turned into sexual props. Dunter, thank you very much for sharing your expertise. Hang out with us. We're going to talk about spanking. You can join that conversation as well. Coming up, I got a text message. Somebody wants me to shock you again. Not sure why. I hope it's because they love you and not because they want you hurt.
Oh, great.
Aaron, who wrote that in. So we'll continue this on the other side of the news right here on Passion on CJAD 800.
Need help with love, sex, dating and relationships? Visit franktalks.com. 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 franktalks. franktalks.com. franktalks.com.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Oh, baby. Yeah.
Alternative sex tonight on Passion. Dunter's in studio. We also have SadistFaction, and Kate, who joins us. We're going to talk about a spanking. First, we'll go to Carolyn and DG, who has a comment or question. Hi, Carol.
Yes, hi again.
Hi.
I couldn't help but taking part because that really reminds me my former boyfriend of many years ago. Well, not that many, but anyways, a good 10, 12 years, and he used to do it to me. He was a master electrician. So
he was a master electrician and used to what?
And he did it with electrodes on me with a battery.
Did you want it? Were you consenting to that, or?
No, it all came of a common accord, and I wanted to try it.
Okay.
Because he offered me if I wanted to do it.
Okay.
And I was game, but I gotta say, first thing, you have to trust the person, and the person has to know his stuff, because you're still playing with electricity. You don't want this to turn into something.
Well, you don't want to catch on
you.
fire or kill your partner. That's not the point.
You don't want to electrocute the person. Let's put it this way. You don't want to kill the person. You
Right.
have to trust the person you're with.
Thank you, Carol, for calling in. Appreciate it. And that's exactly what Dunter was talking about, is you need to trust who's playing with you, right?
Yes.
You need to know who the person is doing the stuff, and that they know their stuff, and that they know their electronics and everything else. And the other person absolutely has to trust you. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I zap Frank, but he trusts me because we've known each other. But you knew I wasn't going to zap you anywhere else, right?
No.
Just your arm, like, really.
That, and of course, I
Well,
really can't say no. So. No, but obviously.
But trust is a very big issue, and I'm sure, Dunter, that's the one thing.
But trust and knowledge.
Trust and knowledge. So the two things for electric play. What about with spanking? How does spanking how do you bring spanking with sex as well? Though now, with 50 Shades of Grey, I don't know have you read it? Kate's rolling her eyes. There's a lot of spanking going on in 50 Shades of Grey. So, millions and millions of women have read this book now, so they're much more aware of the whole spanking thing and the BDSM and what have you. So I think many of us, have an idea of what goes on. How true to life is what was written in 50 Shades? Did any of you read it?
I haven't actually read it. I've read a lot of reviews of it. My concern would be that when we talk about spanking between consensual adults, we want people to understand that this isn't a situation abuse or a situation where people are necessarily really, messed up in the head and working out those sorts of issues. And from my understanding, not having read the book, I'm not sure that clearly got across to people. I think that people are understanding that spanking can be used as something sexual and as a way of bonding between partners, but maybe that they're not realizing that it can be a very healthy part of a relationship.
You're right, because in the book, he had the spanker, the guy, he had issues. Like, it was very clear that all came from childhood, and there's a lot of issues that led him to be this way, although they were both consensual and found a way to use spanking in a loving way without having all of that baggage attached to it. So you're absolutely right. I think it's important to be aware of whether you have issues or not. But SadistFaction, people pay you to get spanked.
Right.
This is like a job for you.
Well, it's not a job. It's
okay, a side job.
A side job.
A side job that you're very passionate about. This is my side job, talking on the air, that I'm passionate about. You can have yours too, They're a little different. But tell me about that a little bit. Who comes to see you for that?
Well, most women, if they do want a spanking, they don't necessarily want to have sex, and they're afraid to ask a total stranger to spank them, because as soon as he pulls down their underwear, he's going to spank them once, and then all of a sudden he's going to start touching the goodies and make sexual advances, and that is not what a lot of women want. They want to get rid of some emotions, and they do it for the rush, for the adrenaline high, maybe because they want to have a good cry, maybe because they want to be touched. A lot do it for the aftercare, so they can just sit and talk and feel comfortable.
It's an interesting concept that people, go through all of that as a therapeutic kind of. So where's the sexuality component to it?
Well, there's many different kinds of spankings. There's spankings for discipline. We do like role-playing spankings where for Katie, she likes the ritual before the spanking, and it gets her in a right frame of mind before we even do that. And
what kind of ritual are we talking about?
Just to have her stand in a specific position, and I repeat that all the time. So she's standing, like, let's say, in a corner, and she's in her underwear, and I'll pull her underwear down, and she'll just meditate for a few minutes, thinking of what is going to happen to her, and the anticipation and the rush, and of course what's going to happen afterwards. So we do the ritual over and over again, so this way she knows during the week how it's all going to play out.
How did Kate? How did you find out that this was something that was a turn on for you?
I was actually interested in kink in general, from like Dunter, from a very young age, from puberty, from probably age 10 or so.
10, really?
It was just something that I always knew I was interested in, and it's funny, I never had a problem asking partners for it, because I started with it so young that I never realized I was asking them for something strange. When you're that age, there are a lot of myths floating around about sex. Yes. And you think all sorts of things are normal that aren't necessarily. You find out as an adult. But I didn't really know that what I was asking was a strange thing, and neither did my partners. So, we just experimented with it.
But how did you even come up with that? Where did you get the idea of it?
I've never really been sure where people come up with the idea of enjoying just vanilla sex. That was just never necessarily what appealed to me. The same as people ask me, I'm bisexual, or I identify as pansexual, and people ask, when did you first know you were attracted to women? Well, I can't imagine not knowing that. So it's kind of a strange question when it's something that started from so young.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, SadistFaction? How did that...
For me, I remember it so vividly. I was 12 years old. I was playing baseball with a friend, and this girl used to come to the park and make fun of us, and my friend ran her down into center field, and he pulled down her panties, and he spanked her, and she got up, of course, and she was crying, and she ran home, and of course the two boys just continued playing baseball afterwards like nothing had happened. And if you analyze it, and now it had everything to do with BDSM. It had the hunt, the capture, the chase, the humiliation, everything to do it. And to me, it was a way of courting a girl. It was, wow, she didn't really like that, but it was something to be aggressor. So when I was 16 and I started dating, it was just normal for me to take a girl, grab her by the hair, and pull her over my knee and start spanking her.
And that was like something you did just because you thought this is what
I thought
girls...
that's what she would like. I mean, it was just a normal thing. And
how many times did you get slapped for that one?
At 16 years old, it was not pleasant because most women, of course, didn't like it, and they said you're a freak and whatever. But some did like it, and to me, I became very shy and very withdrawn for many years because it was like being gay back in the 70s. You don't know who to talk to. You don't know what to do.
So you thought yourself a freak? Like, I thought
myself a complete freak. But fortunately, I found a used bookstore that was selling magazines and books. And if you go to any magazine store, like Penthouse, Hustler, all those, they always had an article on BDSM. In some way or the other, and for it, that was what I was reading. I just thought, oh wow, this is cool, this is great, and
this is like, we have to remember, this is pre-internet, right? This is, yeah.
So you start realizing they're not making these books and underground videos just for me. There obviously is a market. There obviously are other people involved, and I decided to place an ad in then it was Swingers magazine. It was called Tab, and I said I'm a novice dominant and I'm looking to tie people up and to spank them, and sure enough, I started getting replies from women. Well, sure, I'd love for you to tie me up or come spank me.
Wow!
And it just turned. It was amazing, and I also used to get these DVDs, VHS tapes, and also the same thing. So I would copy them, and I would place an ad in Tab magazine saying that I want to trade more tapes. And I met male masters who were voyeurs and had tape collectors. So they started showing me. They said, "Well, bring a girl over, and we'll show you how to tie her up, make some."
Wow. And it's interesting because that's one part of your life, but you're also, on the other part of your life, you're a professional, you have a job, and also what I find fascinating is you're a gentle guy.
I am.
Okay, isn't that true?
You should see him with his cat.
I mean, I know, just talking. You're a gentle guy, and yet there's, you can get off on being dominant and doing this.
Right. It's more of a top, I would say, than a dominant, but it's all the same context.
Yeah, for us, it's
Yeah, dominant.
you're the
right.
The doer kind of thing. And how do your parents? Do they know? Like, what does your environment know about this?
Well, my parents certainly don't know anything. I was brought up in a very sexually repressed...
like many people,
I remember my parents went on vacation and brought a girl over to the house, and at 16 years old, when my brother came home that night, I told my brother that I did something sexual, and I thought he was going to give me like a high five or something like that, and basically he said, "Don't ever do that again in your parents' house," and he pulled me and he smashed me against the wall, and I knew then never talk about sex.
I'm not going to talk. That's right. Oh my goodness.
So
I don't know how they'd feel now. You're listening to Alternative Sex. We're talking about spanking in this alternative sex issue of Passion. And if you've got questions or comments, do give us a call. You're listening to Passion on CJAD 800.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com. Coaching available in person, by phone, and by Skype. For singles, couples, and alternative lifestyles, franktalks.com.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
On Alternative Sex tonight, we've got our panel, Dunter, who's into Electro Play. We've got Frank, our Frank Kermit, who is produces our alternative show and decides on the topics, gets our guests, etc., and he joins us. We also have SadistFaction, along with Kate, his partner, talking to us about spanking. So I was asking SadistFaction over here if his parents knew, and he said, oh, no, family doesn't know any of this stuff, although they may recognize your voice. No, if they listen,
they're asleep.
You think they're asleep.
They're asleep, yeah.
Oh my goodness, you may get a phone call tomorrow. Kate, what about you?
My family's very broadly aware that I'm involved in the kink scene here, in part because when I told them that I was in a relationship with SadistFaction, there's quite an age difference between the two of us, and there was a how did you meet, and I don't think on my feet very well, and I said, well, at a BDSM seminar, Mom.
Dad,
so they know.
Mom. Uh-huh.
They know. We don't ask and we don't tell. My brother's been very supportive. And my parents are sort of, whatever. You're in a city far away from us. We'll try not to think about it.
Oh my goodness! Don't ask, don't tell rule. What about your friends? Like, how do you? I mean, this is obviously only one part of your life. Or do you really? Is this your big identity in your life?
My friends are all pretty much aware. No one's ever had a problem with it. They tease me a little bit sometimes if I come to school and I can't quite sit still for whatever reason that day. I get some comments sometimes, oh, you must have been over at your boyfriend's place. But I've never had any problems talking to friends about it.
What about you?
Myself, I'm always pretty open about it, especially the spanking part. I've never really mentioned the bondage or any other kind of play. Spankings are pretty much generally accepted, I would think, for the most part.
It's a bit more mainstream. It's almost like there's a bit of a mainstream factor to it that a lot of people can incorporate that because it doesn't involve a lot of these toys and things that Dunter has shown us here tonight.
I feel more comfortable not mentioning bondage to friends because right away they think you're some kind of control freak or whatever if they don't really understand that it's the submissive that's really the one that's in control.
Right. So it's really not. I mean, part of the reason we do this show is to try and get an understanding of what really goes on, because there are a lot of misconceptions about a lot of these practices that, listen, we just don't hear about it so much. And when we hear about it, it's in extreme cases. It's in CSI. It's in, where there's murders attached to it and all kinds of stuff like that. Dunter, does your family know about your sexual electrical plays part of you?
But not by me. My sister found out at Salon Amour et Séduction a couple years ago.
Okay. She showed up, you mean?
Making a demonstration using a love machine. Those machine that produce the movement of coit.
I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, but I'll take your word for it.
An effing machine.
The coital machine. Okay. I see what you mean. Yes. That machine. I saw that machine. What is that? Yeah, it's a humping machine, basically. Yes. Okay.
And my sister saw me doing a demonstration of that. So at the.
I hope you were fully dressed.
Yes. Okay. No. Yeah. It was just a demonstration of the tools.
Okay. Good.
So at Christmas, we're having a huge discussion.
Okay.
It was fun. My father found out when I asked him to help me to build one of those machines. And
your father wants a humping machine?
No, he helped me building one.
Did he know what he was helping you with?
At the beginning, no.
I can see this old man, building this thing. Oh, we're finished. What is this?
But at the end, when you see the big dildo coming up, oh, okay, now I understand. Sorry, I have to go.
That's quite. What, you want to give him a heart attack? Wow. Oh my goodness. We're talking about alternative sex, things that activities that people engage in, sexual activities that are outside the norm, that are outside most of our understanding, and we're trying to understand a lot of it. Why do you think, in terms of spanking, why do people want to be spanked? Is there even an answer to that question?
Well, for the most part, a lot of people are adrenaline junkies. They like the feeling that they get. I mean, I'm an avid bike rider, and I know that after an hour or two into my ride, I'm pain, I'm hurting, and your adrenaline kicks in just like any sport, jogging or whatever, and you just get a natural high. So people chase that high. Other people like the ritual. Other people like the sexual stimulation of it. I mean, your privates are exposed and they're being touched, and it's very stimulating. Others like the humiliation part of it, being told what's going to be done to them, or forcibly having their underwear pulled, their panties pulled down. So there's many reasons for it.
One of my ex-girlfriend was giving orgasm by the impact of the spanking. She was.
She would have an orgasm from the impact of the spanking.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Was a wet orgasm when you can see it on the floor.
Right, the female ejaculation orgasm.
It just by the impact of it.
You've experienced that too?
Same thing, and even spanking lightly on the vagina, the same thing. You're not wailing away. You do it, it's kind of like a vibrator, except you're using your hand.
Have your hands been insured? Is that we're talking. We're talking about spanking, Electroplay on this edition of Alternative Sex. You're listening to Passion on CJAD 800.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com. Coaching is available in person, by phone, and by Skype for singles, couples, and alternative lifestyles. franktalks.com.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Alternative Sex tonight. We've got our very own Frank Kermit in studio, along with SadistFaction and Kate and Dunter, talking about spanking, Electroplay. Got a text message. Dr. Laurie, do women pay to get spanked? I'm looking for a career change. How much money do you make doing this? Like, well,
I work on a sliding pay scale, and generally it's like $40 to $60. I mean, don't quit your day job. Do it because you like it.
Do it because you like it. Okay, well, that's a good point. We were talking about why people enjoy this, and Kate, you wanted to add maybe a few comments as well.
Well, I think it's just important for people to realize that you can have spanking that is totally non-sexual. The first time that I went to see SadistFaction and we played together, I mean, there wasn't really anything sexual about it. I'm a very tense person. I have a lot of stress. And I just needed to get that out, and that was really what that session was all about. So you had hired
him. That was...
He didn't charge me.
He just thought, that's only because you're cute, you know.
I hope that's why. No, but it was really very much what I needed in that moment. It was the pain and the crying, and he is a cuddler afterwards. And this is really the important part, is the aftercare, the letting the bottom, the person who's been spanked, know that they haven't done anything wrong, that this has been beneficial to both parties, and just to sort of bond together afterwards.
And that this was okay. And then your relationship evolved from that point on.
Yes.
Okay. I had one other interesting thing. You consider yourself a feminist.
Yes.
So from your feminist friends, do you get a little bit of grief from them that, here you are being spanked, dominated by a man, da-da-da-da-da? Like, how do you,
There can definitely, there's a very interesting discussion going on in feminism right now about, is it necessarily more, are you being more of a feminist if you're being a dom, if you're being a top? And not necessarily, because there's a lot of sexualization that goes along with that. There's a certain way that doms are portrayed in the media as well, that isn't always positive. And what I like to tell people is that there's nothing inherently wrong with submitting. And now I'm a switch. I top with SadistFaction sometimes, and I bottom to him, meaning that I take pain from him.
Or you give pain, one or the other.
We give pain together.
Okay.
I enjoy both. But there's nothing that makes me non-equal in this relationship because of that. It has nothing to do with how we interact with each other on a daily basis.
Right.
When we're out in public, when we're with his family, or when we go out to a restaurant. That has nothing to do with what we do in the bedroom, and I like to tell people that's really the important distinction for them to be making.
Right, and it doesn't make you a non-feminist or against that or anything like that.
Right.
Unfortunately, we got to go. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. If you want to get in touch with, you can go to, if you want to know more about spanking, attitudes.ca. You can go to kinks.ca to find out about Electroplay, and of course franktalks.com to know more about Frank and his weekly workshop.
Need help with love, sex, dating, or relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com.